Hi, Julie. Let's take a look at your magazine here, starting with the front cover. The first thing I want to mention is the masthead. Masthead area, I think, is over-designed. There's a lot of Photoshop effects on the masthead here, and all of these effects are tending to change the shapes of these letter forms. Let me show you what I mean. If we can zoom in here. Okay, so as you can see, right around here on the edges of all this filtering and these glows and stuff, you can see that the letter forms they're starting to encroach on each other, and it's affecting the general look of the kerning. I have a feeling this might be kerned okay, especially the word Providence. This is just too tight designs. Um, if we didn't have all those effects on that. So you want to go minimal on that on your masthead area. These Loan Forgiveness revolutionized again. This is good. Your kerning is really tight everywhere. Everywhere here your word spacing and your kerning is super tight. So that would be tracking and kerning. Okay. You're doing, like, for example, you have this Loan Forgiveness revolution. Using all caps, you want to use sparingly because now you're starting to feel like you're getting yelled at. You know what I'm saying? So you want to use all caps sparingly. I would put a byline or some kind of tagline on this because Providence Designs, I'm thinking it's a design magazine. So I don't know it's a financial magazine until you start taking a look at closer at things. So masthead area, date, a volume number, etc., other folio information. Good job mixing a couple of sans serifs in here. Good job. This down here is strange because it looks like something completely different. It doesn't even look like the same magazine. This is just really it's difficult to understand what this is down here. All of a sudden, you break the whole pattern of a magazine cover and all of a sudden go into debt-o-meter, and it's like, wait, what about it? You know what I'm saying? So I would have liked to have seen that typography more incorporated into the actual cover itself as opposed to set off by itself. Okay, contents page. Again, kerning, really tight. And again, try that thing where you just slide back from your chair and take a look at the text to see if it's legible. And clearly, I mean, it's really super tightly leaded. So food for thought there. Again, good color on this page, good contrast. This area here is really weird. I'm talking about this here. I would have rather have seen this lined up and had the page number off to the side because you're getting some kind of weird spacing in here. And I'm glad you use lining numerals. That's another thing here. Great job there. You're paying attention. That's awesome here. There's the folio information I was looking for the front cover. Okay, and then you have your page number over here. Typically, a folio information will have the name of the publication somewhere, and then the outside page, the numbers like you have on the outside of the page. That's good. Okay, so this first layout, you've set up this 2-column grid, and that's good, but there's only a couple of things I want to talk about here because the typography looks pretty good. Mainly, I want to talk about alignment. First, I think you're entirely too close. You have no margins. You give your layout a little bit of room to breathe instead of pushing everything all the way to the corners. And I mean, like right here, you're right there and right there. Either full bleed that, which means go off the page, or don't, but don't bring it so close. And then your typography. Your regs are pretty good. Not great, but this looks good here. At least you've paid attention to what you're doing, and that's awesome. You got your 2-column grid, and I'm great. I'm glad, super glad you're using a grid. That's important. Alignment. This column here, pull it down so it lines up with this column here, and then you'll have an easier time lining up those baselines. It's going to look so much cleaner when you do that. You'll be amazed. You just got to move this column down. Adjust your spacing here a little bit. Make sure those baselines align. Okay. Your word spacing here, that is bad if you have this really tight kerning, but then you have this this leading here that's just super, like, look how close this is and then how wide this is. So you may not see it exactly, but your eye is definitely seeing a difference between this and this. And it's a little bit stressful on the eye. Like I said, you may not be conscious you're seeing it, but you are. It's as an inconsistency. The call out area, pretty good typography. Okay. All right. So let's go to the second spread here. Now this spread, I'm just this page starts out really good. This is interesting, but you're using this same uh, filtered forgiveness. This filtered type effect over here on your headline. Good byline. Okay. Good indents. Good rags. That's an I'm sorry, that's a widow right there, population. That would be technically a widow as well. Bad rags. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is this page, you created all this identity using images, but keep in mind this is a typography class, so of course I'm going to say, let's try to create your page identity with typography. So what I would do here is I would try to make this more like a spread. Okay, you've got this 3-column spread, which by the way doesn't line up with your page 1 3-column spread. So these columns look uneven. And so you've gone to a 3-column spread, then to a 2-column spread, back to a 3, and then a 3. So this is weird right here that it goes to a 2-column spread. Okay, this whole area here, it's not typography. It's just you just labeled some images and added a drop cap. So I would have liked to have seen that area, that typography handled a little bit differently. A little bit differently than you have here. You just have a series of bold call outs or bold captions here. And it's just no. I guess what I'm saying is there's no hierarchy on this second side of this page. I don't know where to look first, second, and third because there's so many visual cues. You got this guy here. You got all these drop caps. Then you have these 2 images here. Then you have this big white space here. So none of your baselines are on alignment here. Okay, and then your folios, and then so that's basically I have now. I basically just went through this list that I posted, and I talked just about everything on that list. So excellent work. You've done a lot this semester, and especially this term, and I'm really so pleased that you're using the grid and at least and paying attention to lining numerals and your line lengths and everything. Really good job. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot to take in 8 weeks, Julie, but you've done a great job, and I appreciate it. I've enjoyed having you as a student, and I appreciate all your hard work. You're a good student. Okay, thanks, Julie.